guys, Tracy here with a layout share. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek at some of the things that I've been working on lately, because I won't be posting a process video today or Thursday. And I know it's been a while. I think the last process video that I did for you guys was probably this one, New Obsession, although I did post a mini album since then. So if you missed that, check that out on my channel. Today, this is just a sneak peek of a layout that I created for International Scrapbooking Day. So there is a process video on this one, but it won't be up until Saturday, so you can check that out on Saturday. And I made that one using the gorgeous and totally fun hip kit from April, and I had so much fun with that kit. I can't wait to play with it again. And I have two more layouts that will be coming out on Saturday as well. So I thought I would share this one with you guys too. This one is quite different for me, but I had so much fun creating it. This is one that I created for my Patreon supporters. So there is a process video for this one, but it's over on my Patreon account, and you would have to be a chipboard tiara or higher to see the process for this one. But I thought I would just share this completed layout with you guys so that you can see it, because it really is quite different than most of the things that I ever do. It has kind of an interesting combination of purple and blue, which is a really unusual color scheme for me to use anyhow. So I started off with a piece of white cardstock, and I used the smooshing technique along with these Vicky Bouton art crayons that came in the hip kit color add-on from April. And so I used those to just apply some color using the package smooshing technique to the background, basically just because I didn't want to scrapbook on a stark white background, but I also didn't want a patterned paper. And that's usually how I decide whether or not to use mixed media. I get a lot of questions about how do you decide whether you're going to use like a manufactured patterned background paper or a plain paper or a mixed media paper. And basically when I know that I want it to be pretty plain, I'll usually just put some type of mixed media on it so that it's not completely stark and plain. So I really like how that turned out. You can see that it shows through the background. And when I'm making a mixed media background, I like some of it to show on all four sides of my main cluster. Like if this is my main cluster here, I want some showing on all four sides so it doesn't look like there's none on one of the sides. Basically, I know I just said that twice, but anyhow. On this page was used entirely, like all of the embellishments, so everything except for the background papers and the mixed media from the background papers is from the Freckled Fawn kit for the month of April. And the kit comes in this really cute bag like this, and the things inside are just really adorable. And I will show you guys the kit in an upcoming video, I think. Anyhow, it had these really cute shaped enamel shapes, and I thought that they looked like, if you turn them one way, they look like a kite, and then I thought they looked a little bit like tears. So this page is about how much I miss the international student who was staying with us last year. I'm absolutely loving Pascal and having him with our family, but you know, everybody's unique and I always miss them. I missed Marcel the year that Sophia was here, and now I'm missing Sophia the year that Pascal is here, and I'll probably miss Pascal next year because he's a lovely, lovely boy. Anyhow, so I was sitting in this chair at the pool at one of the hotels that we stay in sometimes, and I was sitting there and realized that the last time I was sitting here was with Sophia when she was showing me how to use Snapchat. She was showing me some like little extra things that you can do with Snapchat. And so I was sitting there, and so we were playing around with filters back then. So I used Snapchat and this really funky filter to snap a picture of myself, and I sent it to her. I might have put it on my story as well. And it just says missing Sophia now. And then she must have been online, because she immediately put the same filter on her hair and said, "I miss you too." Aw, isn't she sweet? And so one of the things that I know that there's kind of like these two strange shaped stickers on these photos, and they represent tears, because one of the things that she did when she came to live with us for a year is right off the bat, whenever she was sad, she would take her index finger and she would just like draw a little line of a tear. She'd go, "Aw," and just kind of like trace a line on her cheek. And so everybody in our family started doing that too. So whenever we're sad, we do that on our cheek too. So I thought putting a tear coming out of my eye and the tear coming out of her eye, it's kind of like an inside joke, but I do talk about it in my journaling, so it's not really an inside joke, but it goes along with the theming of this page. Now, instead of layering pattern papers behind this photo, and this is a diptych photo, by the way, it's DIPTIC is the app that I use for putting two photos or more photos together as a little collage. And I just do it right on my phone, and then I can print it up. And so this 4x6 photo is matted with a whole bunch of these acetate frames, and the acetate frames came in the Freckled Fawn Oh Dear Me kit, and I just layered 6 of them around the photo, and then I put the whole thing on a piece of vellum. It just felt like it was too busy with the mixed media and the frames. I just wanted to put a little tiny bit of separation. Of course, you can still see the mixed media through the vellum, but it just gives a little bit more separation. Then these wood veneers came in the kit as well. I painted them white, and I used my brayer to paint them, and oh my gosh, it's so much easier to paint the top surface of a wood veneer with a brayer. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, because the coat of paint goes on so smoothly and so evenly, and it doesn't go onto the edges. And in the past, when I've used a paintbrush, I am almost never perfect at it, and it always ends up getting like little lines on the edges, and I really like those edges to look nice and crisp and to be a bit of a contrast with the color of the front of the wood veneers. So I made my journaling go down the side like this, and I just typed it on a piece of pink or purple, depending on where you draw the line between those two, vellum. And I used my We Are Memory Keepers, what is it called, Typecast typewriter to do that. And then I used my Pebbles roller letter stamp to stamp out Stellarton and Spain so that it's clear that we're not together when this layout happened. We're thousands of miles apart. And then these are letter stickers that came in the kit, and I spelled out Snapchat Tears, and I put some this is washi tape that came in the kit too, and I thought that the colors just picked up so nicely on the colors in our hair. And then these chipboard stickers also came in the kit, so I spread them around, and these really funky black and white cameras also came in the kit. So I used a little bit of almost everything from the kit, I think. I added a little roller date right here with my roller date stamp. I think I used the Chamel one because it has those 2 hearts. It doesn't really matter the day, it was just April of 2017. And then the journaling up here, I just added a little bit of extra journaling that says, Sophia taught us to mime tears running down our cheeks when we are sad. And then I put a little sad face. And then the journaling here says, 1 year ago on these chairs by the pool, Sophia taught me to Snapchat. Returning to this hotel without her makes me miss her even more. And then I put the whole thing on. This is a piece of paper from Hip Kit. It's an exclusive paper from one of the previous kits. I don't remember which one. It is a really pretty gray and white stripe, and it almost takes on a lavender color when you put it on this layout. I don't think it actually is lavender. I think it's actually gray, but it definitely looks lavender when you put it on this purpley based layout. And as I was doing it, I was thinking, because I have so often framed all of my layouts with this paper. This is the Felicity Jane Essentials paper, and this is my favorite one from that. It's the diagonal stripe on one side and polka dots on the other, but I always use the diagonal stripe. You can see I used it so recently. There's one right here. But I use this so often, I feel like I just need 20,000 of this paper so that I can be well stocked in it. And so as I was making this layout, in the back of my mind I was thinking, now how can I what can I frame it with that isn't this paper? Because at some point, it's just going to become ridiculous that I have so many pages framed in this particular paper. So I thought, I pulled out a ton of different kinds of potential background papers that I could frame this in, and I ended up picking one that is so similar to that it isn't even funny, but at least it's a different color, and at least I've got something different on this page. So that's how that one looks, and it has this diagonal design to it. And then this one is called On the Ice, and there is a process video on my channel. No, it's not on my channel. There's a process video on Scrapbook and Cards Today channel for this one. So I don't need to tell too much about how this one came together, because you can just hop on over there and check it out if you haven't seen it already. But this was for Find Your Mojo, and my challenge this month was to try to use a soft color scheme in order to break out of your creative funk. And so as you guys know, I almost never use a soft color palette. I almost always use bright, colorful shades. Or, you know, this is probably like more typical of my style. So, so anyhow, I wanted to challenge myself and challenge you guys also to try to use a soft color palette as a way to break out of your creative rut. So I used mostly Stampin' Up! Products on this, although this I think is a pink paisley butterfly, and this is a piece of chipboard from something, I can't remember which, it might be from Maggie Holmes, but and this is also from the same chipboard set, but everything else is from Stampin' Up! And as I mentioned, you can see how this one came together on the process video. This was a lot of fun. In fact, I had so much fun making this that as soon as I was done, I didn't even take pictures of it when I started doing this layout right here. And this one is on my channel, so you can check that one out if you're interested in it. It was so much fun, I have to say. I had a blast making both of these pages because they're just so different from what I usually make. So that is my little tiny layout share for now. And if you're wondering what this one is, this is a layout that I made several months ago. The process video is on my channel. It's called Take a Sad Song and Make It Better. And it's only here in my recent layouts because I plan to frame this and I just don't have a frame yet. So it's just hanging out in the bottom of my current layouts pile. So I'm going to put these in an album, but I thought I would share them with you guys before I put them away. So thanks so much for watching, and again, I do apologize that there won't be any process videos on my channel this week. I'm still sort of recovering. I am feeling better. Thank you guys so much for everybody who has asked me how I'm doing. I'm fine. I had a medical issue that it's nothing like life-threatening or super serious or anything, but it definitely was interfering with my quality of life and my energy levels and ability to do things. And so I basically, for the past 3 or 4 weeks, have mostly, well, since the beginning of March, I have mostly only been able to work and rest and sleep. And so I've been kind of just coming home, and then on my days off, I have either had medical appointments or I have had to rest up in order to work the next day. So this weekend, I was finally starting to feel myself. I went for a little walk. I had quite a bit more energy this weekend. And so thank goodness, because International Scrapbooking Day is coming up this coming weekend. And I haven't been able to scrapbook just because of my energy levels, and I kept coming down. I kept wanting to scrapbook. I would come down and I'd sit at my desk and I would just feel like anything would be too much effort. And so I would sit here and I'd end up like listening to records, or like, I don't know, I cleaned up all of my strawberry shortcake dolls with a baby wipe, and like anything that's just kind of like sitting down and not thinking too hard. That was basically the only thing that I could do for the past couple of weeks. So Thank you so much for bearing with me through that little bit of time. You might not have noticed it as much because I did have a backlog of videos that I could post, and so I could edit videos and post them. So I hope that you guys didn't notice too big of a gap on my channel. But after Saturday, I think on Saturday you should see at least 3 process videos from me on Saturday, and then next week we should be back to normal in as far as at least 1 process video a week, and sometimes 2. So thanks so much for watching, and have a really great scrappy week.